Good morning, Vietnam. Happy New Year's, everybody. It's 2022. Yesterday, it was 1122. It's exciting because in February, we are actually going to have a 2222. But so happy New Year's. I would like to ask you to post your New Year's resolutions in the comment section below, but that is presupposing that there even is a comment section. You may have noticed, but several of my YouTube videos have disabled commenting, and I do want to go on record and get it out there that I am not doing this personally. I'm not restricting comments, nor do I understand officially why it's being done. It's just another form of repression. I have clicked the Learn More option, and none of the scenarios they list apply. So if there is a comment section, because it seems to be up in the air, please comment your resolutions. My own resolution for 2022 is to factor meditation into my daily practice, scheduling an actual time for it in order to ensure that I do make time for it. One day down and we're doing great. Alright, so to this video, I have been having tons of either manifestations or trance-like visions. I mentioned the incident with the car accident that took place within an hour of my zoning out and talking out loud to an imaginary person in my bedroom about witnessing such, in the past tense, as if I had already seen it. And then being the closest to a real live car accident directly in front of me in the intersection as I waited to turn. But it's gone so much further than that. I zoned out again in a daydream and was talking while I sat in my shower. Like talking big things that I'm not comfortable sharing because we're still in the thick of it. This was an immense development that could hugely affect my life for the better. And it came about exactly as I said it. The following day. Even the details that are not perfect for my situation, but how they came to me. Overall, it is incredible news. I just need to continue to pave my way and pray, so I don't think I should talk about it openly, because that might affect the magic. The thing is, though, I imagine that the parties involved knew about it much longer than this, so was it really a manifestation, or was I connected to something, plugged in, seeing? I only just found out that it was real the following day, after I zoned out in the shower, and again was talking out loud, having a conversation with somebody invisible. But nobody had said anything to me beforehand. And the next day, when I was pulled aside, I was told then to keep it secret too, so it's not floating around. Plus, I've had literal dreams that have materialized as well. Information that I saw when I was legitimately unconscious. I even dreamed about these new uniforms. I dreamed about these new uniforms in the middle of December, and we got them at the end of December. But what I'm making this video about specifically are the dreams I've been having about my ex. Okay, so I dreamed about my ex on the day that he was released from prison. Before I knew he had been released. See, what had happened? I started having dreams about him towards the end of his sentence, but I didn't realize it was the end of his sentence because he was supposed to serve for longer. He had been in there a couple of years, but I think he was supposed to be in there for like another year. But I started dreaming about him. The weird dreams, like, I think he was like turning like the lawn black or something. And he was like trying to like silently do things for me. Then he like, but without speaking, he was like doing me favors, and then he like pulled out a cigarette, and I told him like you can't smoke in the house, and he had to like go outside. But like he was being silent and doing things for me, and like his energy had seemed kind of different in some of the dreams, and in one of the dreams he was talking, and he told me like, you know, sometimes he misses me so much, and like these dreams made me like go look him up, like go check in on his situation, and he had disappeared from the prison website. Like I used to be able to see that he was in prison, and I couldn't find him anymore. So I was like, what the fuck is he out? It turns out he was now. I still don't know why he wasn't on the website anymore, but he like disappeared. Some more time passed, and I was under the impression that like they had released him early, like he was already out. I didn't realize that he was still in prison. And then I had a dream about him, and later that same day, he contacted me like he had been released. So I dreamed about him when he was released from prison, before I knew he had been released, and before he had contacted me. But he contacted me later that same day. And we don't talk on the regular. He asked me if we could be friends. He told me at one point that like he missed the sound of my voice and gave me his number. I didn't call him. I told him he really hurt me, and I wouldn't give him a yes. So I did tell him that I feel like he is spiritually indebted to me, which is something that I believe. I feel like his soul owes mine, and he knows it. He didn't like what I had to say, so he didn't and doesn't message me often. I just discovered a pattern, though. I dreamed about him on December 23rd. The last time he had spoken to me was November 16th. He didn't message me between November 16th and my dream about him on December 23rd. But on December 25th, 2 days after my dream, he messaged me again. Then I dreamed about him on December 30th. He got into contact with me on January 1st, which was 2 days later. Again, 2 days later. So in my dream on December 30th, he was weaseling his way into the lives of people around me, specifically my girlfriend, who doesn't exist in real life. She was like my dream girlfriend. And I was trying to warn her that he's dangerous, but she didn't take me seriously. I have to tell you a little bit about my ex. So he was a sociopath. I don't say that lightly. If not a sociopath, then he borderline, but with like heavy sociopathic comorbidity. His lawyer accidentally let it slip to me that he'd been arrested. I don't even remember the number anymore. I don't want to misquote the number, but it was way over like 30 times. And for crimes like family violence when he was still a child too. His mother told me once that he had wandered out of the house, still a toddler, and was found with all of the kitchen knives tucked inside of his diaper, just walking down the street. He used to tell me that he felt like Mewtwo from Pokemon. He said that he spent so much of his life either in jail or the institution, and that he didn't even feel like a real person, like he didn't know how to treat people, and that was the excuse that he would give me to justify what he would do to me. He would steal my possessions. He made me feel unsafe in my own home. I started deteriorating and losing my mind because I had no peace. There was nowhere I could go to retire and to get away from all of this chaos. There were influences that I had specifically kept out of my life by making better and deliberate choices. When I was with him, none of that mattered. All of the things that I had successfully protected myself from, I was exposed to by proxy because he brought them in. There were people in my environment, in my apartment, that I did not want there. The thefts and the betrayals and the invasions and the disrespect was boundless. But I couldn't remove those people because they were with him. And I did love him because he was mine. Except that he wasn't. He was supposed to be. He would say that he was. And I am damaged enough that I get tunnel vision. My partner is my everything. He was everything that I had. And that did come to be true because I lost everything else because of him, as a direct result of him. In real life, he would do and say atrocious things and either tell me he was going to work or else he would tell me he was never coming back. And sometimes he would just step out for a cigarette and evaporate into thin air. He would leave, block me on everything, steal a car. And I'm not being hyperbolic here. This was like his MO. He did this on numerous occasions. All of these events in sequence. He would steal a car, crash the car, at least in the cases where he would then unblock me to call saying how sorry he was from another city and that he was coming back. Then he'd return and reassure me that me, who is devastated beyond reason, we are so past redemption after the unspeakable acts that I can't mention. But he would return and reassure me that he always comes back. It was a catchphrase, as if that made up for what he did on his way out, as if that made up for the constant hell that he would subject me to day to day. It was a nightmare. But so on December 30th, I had an actual nightmare, like I really dreamed about him. And when I did so, he had reappeared in the dream, telling me I always come back, just like he used to say in real life. So he told me I always come back, and in my dream, my girlfriend in the dream was spending time with him, and I was trying to warn her that he's dangerous, and she totally underestimated what he was capable of, and the damage, the destruction, that just what he does, everything he touches dies. And he was like robbing people and then bringing the stuff back and like going through the stuff, and I didn't want him there. And in the dream, he put his hand down his pants and like pulled it out, and there was like feces on it, and he smeared it on my throat. So that was the dream that I had with him on December 30th. And then on December 23rd, when I dreamed about him, and then he ended up contacting me on December 25th, so 2 days later, on December 23rd, I dreamed about him, and in my dream, I had put hand sanitizer in my eyes. And then December 30th was the one where he had smeared shit on my throat and was like weaseling his way back into my circle. And then I noticed a pattern there where it's 2 days, like December 23rd to December 25th. And then December 30th to January 1st. It's just 2 days. Plus the fact that I just feel like I'm like really psychic right now. And when he contacted me on January 1st, it was because he was trying to get me to put him in contact with a friend of mine whose full name he doesn't remember. Because he says he's looking for someone. So it's kind of like my dream where, you know, he was working his way back into my circle. He's trying to track somebody down and he wanted my help. And I said, no, I'm not putting you back in contact with my friends. He ruined people's lives. And it was partially my fault because they were only exposed to him since he was with me. And I'm not doing that again. I almost forgot to mention, I left the state to get out of his orbit because I knew I'd just keep getting sucked back in. The day after we had broken up, he set his Facebook status as married to some chick I'd never even heard of. So they were probably together while we were together. And I know that he cheated on me with at least one other person. But looking back, there were other instances where I can't ever really know for sure, but it's likely. It's difficult. Like, I couldn't really ever know anything for sure. I felt like I was in Schrodinger's life. That's what I would call it. Like, you know, Schrodinger's cat, where the cat, before you open the box, the cat's both dead and alive. I felt like everything around me, I couldn't tell, like, is everything okay, or is everything going to implode at any moment? Like, there was no, at any moment, everything could break, and I had no way to anticipate that. It was just completely random, and I had exhausted my means of trying to rationally reach conflict mediation. I tried to talk to him, I tried to communicate and, like, work through things and find ways that, like, we could both be happy, and nothing I did worked. Like, I did things that seemed like they should work, and he just wouldn't work with me. And it got to where it broke me. Like, I felt helpless, and I felt stuck, and I felt like nothing I said or did made any difference. And I just couldn't function anymore. There was nothing I could do. I was so trapped because I wasn't willing to let him go. So I left the state, and then shortly afterwards, he and the girl that he had set himself as being Facebook married to, they were both arrested together. And then he faked his own death, and then he went to prison. And then his mother killed herself. So I told him no. And I gotta show you though, this audio recording that he sent me, because I will cherish it forever. Listen to this.
I understand that you hated her.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was him talking about, there is this girl, I don't know how, this makes me think that he's talking to somebody in particular, which is disappointing to me. But it makes me think he's already gotten into contact with somebody else. There was a girl, I don't have a long list of people that I truly despise. It's a pretty short list. I could probably count it on one hand. And one of the people on that list died this year in September. And I guess he heard about it. She was outlived by all of her children. She was tragically young. And it's funny how everybody speaks so fondly of horrible people once they've died. In any case, though, I gotta show you this. Oof, oof, oof.
Really fucked myself. Emotionally destroying a real life witch.
I will cherish this recording forever.
Yeah, I don't know. People could be lying. But I wouldn't put it past you.
Thank you. You've been a wonderful audience.